scout out and set up a location down here at the beautiful red rocks. So, a little bit contrasty, but you can certainly see the red colour on the rocks, the lichen. But I'm just going to go over to those ones over the back there that are in the sunlight, and there's some beautiful leading lines leading out to a rock in the sea, which should make for a good photo. Called the Bay of Fires. And where the houses are is Bingalong Bay. I think these beaches are Swimcart and Generette. Right, these are the rocks I want to take a photo of, with these beautiful leading lines, and the red lichen on the rocks makes them look really good. So yeah, we'll have a play around here, and every now and then the waves thump down below and send the spray up, so yeah, there's some nice rocks out there on the horizon. Hopefully they'll light up, but I think they're a bit far away from a photo, so yeah. Yes, today, day 2 of the Northeast Safari. Just at a day use area south of Sloop Reef, I think it's called, which is a few hundred metres up the road. There's a camping area there, a small one. I spent last night there, just taking some sunrise photos from here, and about to head off now up to Eddystone Point and check the lighthouse out, and there's a small camping area just north of there where I'll probably stay tonight and try and get some, again, sunrise and sunset shots by the lighthouse. So that's the plan. Right, here we are at the mouth of lagoon at Policemans Point. The wind's a bit chilly, looking up towards Eddystone Point Lighthouse. And yeah, there's the mouth. And looking back down towards the gardens, and of course Bingalong Bay, and where I was last night. Just take a couple of pics here. I've just taken some photos of a couple of pelicans who stayed still for me for quite a while, so that was great. So yeah, it's trying to fine up, although that breeze has got a bit of a chill to it. So yeah, we'll take a photo here and then head back and have some lunch, and then Eddystone Point Lighthouse. That's all for now. Just walking back to the car and some lunch. Beautiful crystal clear water coming out here. It's like something in the tropics. Right, here we are at Eddystone Point. This is one of the old houses at the Lighthouse. I notice on the front sign it says it's now Aboriginal land, so I presume they're got some sort of business going here, renting the houses out. I stand corrected on that, I'll have to read up in a bit. But interesting, the stone that they've used is the, I don't know what it's called, granite. Yeah, granite. Which is the rock up the east coast of Tassie. So yeah, love the juxtaposition of the white bricks around the door and the granite. Looks really good. There's the lighthouse. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute, but first I just want to have a look at the lighthouse keepers' cottages. That one's not in as good a nick condition as the other one. Interesting seeing the old gardens, the bulb. I presume these cacti, succulents, whatever you want to call them, were planted by the lighthouse keepers. Looking a bit sorry. Yes, I see the rooms are made up with beds in them, so it must be a business B&B. In a way it would have been nice if there'd been more interpretive signage explaining what's what, because there currently isn't anything around the houses. That's a magnificent specimen. So yeah, I'll walk up to the lighthouse now. Right, here's the lighthouse. Again made out of the granite, which I think was quarried just down to the left of me at the shore, which I'll go down to later, and I think you can still see where they cut the rock to make the lighthouse out of it. But yeah, quite an impressive lighthouse as far as lighthouses go. Metres high. Well, I never. Yes, a distinct lack of interpretive signage, which is a real shame, because I'm sure people will be absolutely fascinated in both the European and indigenous history of the place. And look at that, bloody hoons have been out, and nothing I abhor more, hoons wrecking historical buildings anywhere in the world. No different to those bloody Taliban blowing up temples and destroying things. The epitome of ignorance. Anyway, enough said about that. Less said about that the better. So yeah, I imagine the lighthouse is here because of the rocks just out there on the water, which no doubt claimed ships prior to the lighthouse being built. So there she is. Magnificent structure. Just down below the lighthouse, around to the left, where they quarried all the rock. There's a sort of a wall of rock that they've quarried and left there, maybe as a wave break against the waves, the weather. Yeah, some interesting rocks here, and sunrise up there tomorrow morning, so it might be a good spot to come here. More lines in the rock, which would make, yeah, possibly. What was I looking at? Here's a possible composition, just with those semicircle of rocks, sort of lead the eye to the red rocks and tapering down to the waves. I think there's almost a shot there. Been great wandering around here this afternoon, but yeah, real shame that no money's been spent on information for people. It's just the buildings and the lighthouse, and you've got to go off and do all the research yourself, which I think with the country's history it should be recorded for people when they visit the site, because people like reading information about the history of buildings, especially early colonial settlement in Tasmania. Yeah, so from that aspect I feel very sad. But yeah, another blue sky day, bloody magnificent. Arrived at Deep Bay, just a few k's up the coast from Eddystone Point, where I'm camping tonight. Got the whole campground to myself. Very nice shady campsite, and yeah, these rocks down here are just something else in the water. Bit of seaweed, I'd say, from the storm the other day. Yeah. Oh, and there's the lighthouse right down there. Right, just been up since before sunup, getting some photos, and decided to go for a little walk along the beach, and found these wind blasted sandhills, which I've just been photographing. They're quite stunning. Remind me of pavlova or whipped cream or something, but anyway, each their own. I'd say a lot of it occurred when we had the big storm in Hobart the other day. Maybe wrong, but yeah, the wind certainly blows. Lovely patterns, and quite a ton of seaweed on the beach. And over there is Eddystone Point Lighthouse. So yeah, we're going to head off, have some breakfast, and continue on day 3 of the the big trip. Another perfect day. Bloody freezing though. Got about half a dozen bloody layers on, trying to keep warm. So yeah. Reminds me of snow too. Wind blasted snow. Just coming up on, I think it's called the Mussedlroe Bay Wind Farm. First time I've seen it. It wasn't here 20 years ago when I came up. Looks a pretty big enterprise. In fact, the first time I've seen turbines at a wind farm since visited NZ in 2011. Sort of thing, and I know it would seem sacrilegious, but if they put one on Moonlight Ridge Hill 1 on the way to Pinders Peak in southern Tasmania, I doubt very much whether it'd have much downtime, because the wind tends to blow off the Southern Ocean there regularly. But there's something sort of semi-graceful about them. At least they're clean, environmentally friendly. I mean, there's hardly any wind blowing here today, and yet they're all bloody turning. So yeah, I don't have anything against them if they're all away from the city out here, only affecting cows and plants. But yes. Almost mesmerising. Right, just left the campsite at Stumpy's Bay and have walked down to a place called Cobbler's Rocks. They say it's a 2-hour return trip, but it took me half an hour to get here. Mind you, I was walking quickly. Very good, well used 4-wheel drive track. A bloody car could drive it down to here. Past 2 parks vehicles on their way out. And get down here to the beach, and yeah, they're doing something down here. What, I don't know, but they've dumped a couple of trailer loads of firewood all cut up ready for a fire, and 3 garbage bins, and one of those track-driven track making machines. So I don't know what they're doing, but anyway, we'll have a look at the beach. Not a bad spot. Glad I made the walk. Very picturesque. Not a soul here. Bliss! So that's the beach. As you can see. Very nice, pristine. Beautiful white sand. A few footprints going off along the beach, so yeah. Just following this track inland from the beach, decided to go for a walk on the beach, and other side of the lagoon. Looks like whatever it is, be interesting to find out what it is. I spotted the radio mast Looks like the black obelisk in there out of 2001 having a lying on its side. God only knows what it is. I wonder if it's one of those Bay of Fires bloody camps for the people that do the walk. Yeah, I reckon that's what it is. Bloody hell, she's flash. Whatever it is. Right. Wow. No windows, just sliding doors to make the windows. Well, I never. Don't know what these are. Probably little sleeping quarters, I'd say. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what the cost is to do one of their walks. I bet it's not cheap. Okay. Puts a new meaning on the word roughing it in the bush. Sorry about the wind. Right at Cobbler's Rocks. And all this black stuff down here is seaweed, I reckon, washed up with the storm we had last week in Hobart. Right down there's Eddystone Point Lighthouse again. That wind is absolutely bitingly cold. Might turn around and head back. The weather looks like it could be deteriorating. So yeah, back to the campsite and a warm fire, I think. Right, I think these are called black boys. They're quite sort of stunning vegetation, very pretty. And they've got this long stem that is about half my height again. I photographed them when they're in flower, and they're just smothered in little tiny white lemony coloured flowers the whole way up. They're quite something. So I presume these are past flowering. Yeah, another strange Australian plant. God knows what the botanists from England thought when they arrived in Australia with its strange animals and strange plants. The ubiquitous Banksia, for those that don't know, named after Cook's botanist, Sir Joseph Banks. Yeah, quite pretty flowers, many varieties of them. Definitely grow in the coastal regions. Right, back to the track and home to the car. Right, good morning. Day 4 of the big trip. This time I'm at the car park to do the walk to the lofty summit of Mount King William. It's only over 200 metres high, so a bump on the landscape. But anyway, a very overcast day today, drizzly, not as cold as yesterday. So yeah, we'll see how the walk and see if there's any views from the top. There's not a, well, it's high cloud, so should still get views down the coast and up the coast. Okay. Right, at the summit of Mount King William, or Mount William. Of course, Mount King William's in the south west of the state. Yeah, a grey overcast day. It stopped raining. Sorry about the wind. remains of the day. Just a magnificent afternoon. It's been blue sky, t-shirt weather. Just been photographing some of these beautiful rocks. Last bit of light catching the one over here. Absolutely sensational, and in the background is Bingalong Bay. These red rocks are just something else again. Quite unique to this part of Tasmania. Like someone's gone and painted them. Just the most stunning lichen growing on the rocks. Right, good morning. The last day of the epic trip to the east coast. Was up at Sparrowfart for sunrise. Wasn't great colour in the sky, but yeah, it was alright. Managed to get a few shots of these rocks I'm reasonably happy with. So yes, it's been a productive shoot this morning. Right, here we are climbing up St Patrick's Head, just outside of St Mary's. It's a short, sharp little pinch up through some forest. Quite cool in the shade. I'm about just under halfway up there. So yeah, only met two other people on the way down. They reckon the views are good. I reckon they will be too. It's a perfect day for it anyway. I would say this is where the grunty bit of the track begins, the steepest part. I found a stick that people have used for support up and down at the gate where the walk began, so I've snaffled that since I didn't bring my walking pole. Yeah, she's bloody steep. That's for sure. That's looking up the coast to Beaumaris down below, and then further up to St Helens. Perfect day. I'm not actually at the summit. The reason for that is it's a little bit precipitous up there, and just don't feel comfortable wandering around on my own. No warnings down the bottom though. There'll be a lot of people that'll get up here and would be a bit like me. Yeah, just a little bit hairy, and yeah, couldn't really see where the track went to the trig station on top. There's actually a steel ladder rusting away for one section, so that'll give you an idea that if they put a ladder up here, she's not exactly easy. So yeah, live to fight another day, and only a few more metres to the top, so probably the views may have been slightly better, but I'm happy with what I've got. So yeah, a bit of lunch and head back down. What a day! Too good.